You ever been just bumping heads with someone and they're just not getting it? Maybe it's time you change your approach. I'm Qahir, and you're tuned in for the best advice to help you define your story and who will listen. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell so you're notified when I'm releasing new episodes every Saturday. Now, I like to keep things simple, so we're gonna start like this. If you're trying to explain something to a child, right? What's the best way to get your point across? It should be storytelling, and that will help support your facts. As adults, I feel like we tend to forget that, that inner child, and it's probably due to bills. It's due to bills. But we end up, as a result, just throwing a bunch of facts at each other. And I know a lot of people say common sense isn't common. I tend to disagree with that. I believe that common sense to you isn't common sense to someone else. So, and that's where a lot of the bumping heads come from, because people just aren't seeing your perspective and you haven't made it relatable to them. Like, for example, if I was told growing up, like I'm sure a lot of us were, hey, don't touch the stove. Initially, especially at that age, I'm gonna be like, why not? And it's not because I'm being difficult, but it's because, like I said, what's common sense to you just isn't common sense to me at that age. If I was told that same scenario, but in the form of a story, like, hey, don't touch the stove because it could melt your skin off and you're not going to be able to play basketball anymore. Initially, I'm going to be like, oh my God, this stove is going to ruin my hoop dreams. I'm never walking in the kitchen again. But that will work for me because, which leads me to my first reason as to why storytelling is so effective, is you have to make it relatable. We tend to forget that we just naturally gravitate to stories. And what that does is it helps us form a connection factor. If someone is just hitting you with logic all the time, it's not going to stick because we're emotional beings. If I don't feel nothing, if I don't feel what you talking about, I say that a lot in real life. If I'm not feeling you, and you just hit me with facts, then of course it might be a little bit more resistance with trying to understand your point of view. Quick question for you guys. Has someone tried explaining something to you, but it just didn't, click because it wasn't relatable? So the whole time you're probably like, what are they talking about? Just let me know in the comments, yes or no. And by you making it relatable, what that does, which leads me to reason number 2, is you're increasing your engagement. So that person becomes more open-minded and willing to listen to your perspective and understand your message because y'all form that connection factor initially. Which then leads to reason number 3, you're able to get your point across. Because you've made it relatable, which increase your engagement, and now they're paying attention, is no more of that, emotional barrier that they have, basically because they haven't experienced what you have, and it's not common to them. You are able to get your point across now, which is beneficial to you, which is ultimately the goal of storytelling. And reason number 4, you've made it memorable, which is beneficial to them. So now, recapping, you've created that connection factor by making it relatable, that increased your engagement. That was both of those two allowed you to get your point across, and in doing all of those, you've made it memorable for that person. So not only will they now understand the facts that you were trying to convey in the beginning that you couldn't because y'all were bumping heads, but now you've also got the facts across and they'll never forget that because you've made it relatable. They compared it to an experience that they've had and were able to be more open to seeing your perspective. That this doesn't mean that they agree, but they understand your perspective a little bit more. If you're interested in creating a brand, defining your story and who will listen, apply for my Clarity Brand Masterclass. You could just click the link in the description below. Make sure you tune in for next week's video because I'll be covering the storyteller's structure and how you can basically apply that to tell better stories. If you like this video, keep that same energy going. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys in the next video.